Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I did a top 10 best movies of the decade list. And while I was doing that, I thought to myself, well, it almost wouldn't make sense to not do a top 10 worst movies of the decade. Number 10, kicking this horrible, horrible list off, is A Wrinkle in Time. I know some people love this movie. I know some people are big, big defenders of this film, probably mostly because either they read the book, so they're making a lot of excuses, or they're filling in all the gaps and plot holes and logic gaps that were in this movie, but also because they love Ava DuVernay. I know Ava DuVernay has made some other movies that people enjoy and whatnot, so she's the Messiah and people love her and she's gonna do great and she's perfect. But look, she made a stinker. All right, she did, and she didn't want to admit it. When the reviews came out that this movie sucked, she went hardcore against people because it's a kids movie and people didn't want to appreciate it as a kids film. No, this just sucks. This just has a story that is so forgettable. It's a little girl who's looking for her father, and then she goes into this other realm with her annoying little brother, who's so freaking annoying, but the movie thinks he's adorable. It got on my nerves. And then you have Mindy Kaling, and you have Reese Witherspoon, and you have Oprah Winfrey as a giant. What's going on here? They're like three witches who are showing these kids around and the magical stuff and the creatures, and then Michael Pena with his red eye shows up, and then Zach Galifianakis is here, and then oh man, this was like a huge acid trip that I never want to remember taking ever again. Boy. Number 9, 50 Shades of Black. F you, Marlon Wayans. You have made a career now. Look, I know back in the day when Keenan Ivory Wayans, your older brother, was pulling you together and writing your material for you. Yeah, sure, fine. You had some good, funny stuff. But with you on your own, with you doing your own stuff, with you doing these horrible parody movies, I mean, I could have done a bunch more, like A Haunted House 2, that Netflix show movie that you did. I mean, you have so much garbage. I decided to settle on 50 Shades of Black because these jokes were horrible, badly written, badly delivered. He's trying so hard to be funny with his yelling, ranting, and raving, but no one's listening. No one cares. It's pathetic. It was sad being in the theater and looking around and people just awkwardly being silent, and just, you get some pity laughs from other people, and I'm just like, don't give him that. No, no, he doesn't deserve it. I don't care how much you like Scary Movie. I don't care how much you liked Don't Be a Menace. He doesn't deserve these laughs nowadays. He's BSing. He's doing some of the lowest hanging fruit type jokes I've ever seen. It was sad. It was pathetic. Number 8, The Snowman. Woohoo! Here's something that was based off of a novel, something that could have been a hit, something that could have been dark and brutal and intense. Michael Fassbender, Rebecca Ferguson. I mean, great cast. Val Kilmer, which I don't know what the hell happened to Val Kilmer. I know he had throat cancer, so it's not his fault. But the way how they edited his voice, I mean, they just had somebody redub over him, but it was so clumsy and awkward. And then so much of the scene was chopped up and edited up the hell. So much of this story doesn't make sense. There's gaps missing. The the editing really makes Rebecca Ferguson's character look terrible because she makes some choices and decisions that just have you scratching your head and saying, "What? You, you're an idiot, Rebecca Ferguson. You deserve to get killed." And I don't mind spoiling that. Michael Fassbender has not had a good streak because it was either this movie or it was Assassin's Creed. And man, oh man, I was so close to putting Assassin's Creed as well on this list. Number 7, The Tourist. The Tourist. Remember, this movie got a Golden Globe nomination. Hoo hoo, hee hee. I actually thought this movie was going to be good because it had Johnny Depp, it was Angelina Jolie, it was like a spy-like movie. I thought they were gonna give us something here, but no, this was hard to watch. Man, these two surprisingly didn't have great chemistry. Surprisingly, it was just them on a vacation, basically going around and doing stuff. And then the most important thing that I remember from this movie is that you had this big mystery on who this person is, who this mystery person is that was going around and doing everything that they were doing, and these two characters trying to figure it out. And then when you get to the very, very end of the film, and when you find out who the hell it is, it pissed me off so bad because it didn't make a goddamn sense at all. It made no sense. It was done just because they were bored. They were bored and they decided, you know what? We don't really know who we want to be this person, so we're just going to make it Johnny Depp. Even though we were with him for the whole film, even though he was there and he was doing everything with Angelina Jolie, it just, thinking about the film is getting me back into a place where I don't want to be. Coming in at number 6, Jupiter Ascending. It's almost amazing that this film isn't higher on the list because this is hot garbage. This movie, such a big budget. You have the Wachowski siblings, I guess, right? I mean, I don't know. I guess they're both sisters now, even though they used to be brothers. Okay, fine. They made The Matrix. And I know the Matrix sequels suck. I know these two haven't made really good movies in decades, it feels like. But this movie was a whole new low of Channing Tatum, who just, he goes up and down with me as far as his films go and the roles that he takes. And this one was not the right thing for him to do at all. Seeing him with his elf ears and the makeup that make him look alien was just goofy as all hell. Mila Kunis as the Messiah-like character. She's supposed to be this tough, badass chick that you just don't buy at all. And CGI up your ass, CGI around the corner, CGI in your mouth, in your eyes, in your ears because you couldn't escape it. Nothing in this movie was shot practical, it seemed. And the story was all over the place. The story was... and Eddie Redmayne. Holy crap! Eddie Redmayne won an Oscar the same year for, yes, a different movie. And yes, he was playing Stephen Hawking. So maybe you could say that it was an easy win for him, even though I still say Michael Keaton deserved it for Birdman. But not only that, he didn't deserve the Oscar because of also making this movie. He should have been punished for making Jupiter Ascending and for that horrible, horrible accent that he talked the whole film like this. What the hell was that, dude? If you're really an Oscar winner, then you should know better than to have done a half-ass, dumbass performance like that. Man, speaking of horrible, dumbass performances, M. Night Shyamalan at number 5 gave us The Last Airbender. Woof. Now, I didn't see this in theaters, and I'm not even an Avatar Last Airbender fan. Like, I'm not somebody who grew up with the cartoons, although I'm sure the people who have grown up with the cartoons, the anime, I'm sure they love it. I'm sure as much as they love it, they probably hated this movie even more than I did. It's probably their number one hated movie because of that fact, because of how much he screwed them over with the lore, with the mythology. I had to read up on some of this stuff to realize how bad, how misguided, how miscalculated he was. And then seeing the cast that he gave, not only were they all pretty much terrible actors, but the whitewashing effect. I mean, here's a guy, M. Night, who isn't white himself. He too is of a race where you would think he would want to cast more accurate, race accurate. I cannot believe that this was made. I can't believe that they gave him this much of a budget and he screwed up so hard. I mean, this was a big, big misfire. You watch this film and you can barely tell what the hell is going on. Number 4, Movie 43. I cannot believe that this film was made, especially with this cast. This has some of the biggest actors. I mean, I could read a list of them. It would take me forever. Hugh Jackman, Kate Winslet, Emma Stone. Like, holy crap. This just Elizabeth Banks. It just keeps going on and on with how much A-list caliber actors that they have. But you have some of the lamest, horrible jokes. Chris Pratt, Anna Faris. It's them loving poop, first of all, which, come on, guys. Come on. Come on. You guys do comedies all the time. How do you not read the script and think, yeah, this is terrible. This is like, I don't care how many people, how many executives I'm going to piss off. Maybe these producers had so much dirt on these actors, had so much, maybe they collected their souls, and so they owed them a favor and they had to make this movie. Or they all just made so much money on this movie, because I didn't laugh once. Not once. There's not a single laugh or joke to be had in this film at all. Man, the joke of Hugh Jackman having balls hanging from his throat. Oh my god. Uh this is real life, people. I'm not making this up. I'm not pretending. I'm not just BSing. No, this is real. If you haven't seen this, stay the hell away from it. I can't even say it needs to be seen to believe. Just believe me, that sucks. Number 3, 50 Shades Darker. I'm sure I don't have to try that hard to tell you guys how much this movie sucks. This is a part of the 50 Shades of Grey franchise. But if you're wondering, why did I pick the second one? Why didn't I pick the first one? Or why didn't I pick the third one? It's because of this. The first one is a bad movie, but there are things about it that make it, at the very least, watchable. The third film, as bad as that is, it's such a train wreck that you can at least finish the movie, because maybe you're just so curious at how the hell they're going to end this dumb, over-the-top story. But the second movie is god awful. The second movie is so bad that I walked out of the theater. One of the only times ever that I've walked out of the theater after paying for a movie. I couldn't finish it. I just couldn't finish it. Nothing happened. This movie was over 2 hours long and nothing happened. It's just these two characters having sex and having dumb little arguments and having these horrible moments of getting back together, and then the side plot of the boss who's abusing his power and trying to hit on Anastasia, and then Christian Grey's always there to take care of the problem, and every problem that did happen, Christian had a solution to it, and it just got resolved in 5 minutes. And then rinse and repeat over and over again. There was no constant through line of a villain going through. Even Kim Basinger, who you thought was going to be this big head villain that was going to come back and do stuff, she's nowhere to be found towards the end and the last movie. Her character gets dropped. So much of this movie is convoluted and just thrown together, and these movies make Twilight look like cinema. Number 2, we're getting close, guys. Number 2, Human Centipede 2. Goddamn! This is the film that I couldn't believe how far they took it. The first Human Centipede movie, I remember hearing about it and hearing what it was about, how these people got kidnapped, and then this crazy professor, surgeon, sewed them all ass to mouth together to make a human centipede just to see if they could survive, just to see if he could do it. And it sounded sick, it sounded gross. And then when I watched the movie, yeah, it was gross and it was all that stuff, but it wasn't as graphic and it wasn't as intense as I thought it was going to be. Then you get to the second film, and it's a shit show. And I mean that literally. You have this fat, overweight dude who's playing this guy that's obsessed with the first movie. And so he goes out and he creates his own real life human centipede, and he kidnaps a bunch of people. He even kidnaps one of the actors from the first film. And it's just like, man. And I believe he goes up to like 12 people this time as compared to 3 in the first one. And this was gross. It's in black and white. probably because the quality of the filmmaker went down so bad. But I know it's because he wanted it to be more gritty and more down and dirty and realistic. And mission accomplished. It's just being gross for the sake of being gross. It's unwatchable. It's a movie that I never ever, never ever ever want to see ever again. There's certain bad movies that I'll watch again for the fun of it, or for the aspect of it could be entertaining to sit back and get drunk and joke about it left and right. But no, there's no enjoyment. But for my number one worst movie of all time, and man, this was hard because Human Centipede 2 almost on a filmmaking level should be number one. Human Centipede 2 should be the worst movie of the decade because in a lot of ways it is. But what I gave on this list to be number one is inappropriate comedy. This tried to be what movie 43 was trying to do. Both fail miserably, but inappropriate comedy was 100,000 times worse. You have the Sham Wow guy who is bookending this film. He's doing the intros and outros and everything in between. He's presenting this app that when you click onto it, you see a bunch of different stories and different actors. You have that skit with Adrian Brody where he's playing the gay Dirty Harry, and man, that joke is god awful. There's so many jokes. There's so many bits. There's so many things that go on for too long. That one comedian who I've seen him on Joe Rogan, I forget his name now. He's the Jewish comedian. You can tell because that's all he makes jokes about. He goes around in the store and he's making fun of other people. He's talking trash to other people. He's insulting them and just being mean for the sake of being mean. And it wasn't funny. That's the biggest problem. Ari Shafir, that's his name. He was making all these horrible, terrible, mean-spirited jokes that weren't funny. This was bad. This was badly made. This was badly put together, badly directed. This gets the top spot because you're a comedy. You're a comedy. You're actively trying to be funny. You're actively trying to make other people laugh, and you don't do it. You don't do it. You are a waste of space. You are not worthy of being in this business, in this industry at all. I can't believe the film exists. I can't believe that if people wanted to, they could watch this movie. Compared to other movies that don't get greenlit, that can't get made, people who actually have great ideas and they can't get their movies done, but these movies do? What the F? What the hell, guys? I did it. I talked about these movies, some of the worst movies of the decade. I was angry. I was mad. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because now I'm just pissed off and I'm angry and I'm ready to tear something and break something. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I guess you can let me know what you think of my list and what some of your worst movies of the year are, but I can guarantee they're not worse than the movies I just listed. Later.